on the seafront. Circuit opened in 2010, just in time for its debut in the World Championship. 4 Grand Prix were held here between then and 2013. 5.615 kilometres around a lap. Plenty of space for racing. Look at the cars on the formation lap. They're coming out of turn 2, are rising, gently rising with a steeper end to it. This is the infield straight, the longest straight by far. Really great overtaking potential up into turn 3. Just running down the grid, Evan Chen and Dan Wells, new to the championship this weekend. Wells, and right at the sharp end of the field, Afik Yazid and Huang on the third row of the grid. The front row, though, it's the FFF racing team, Yusuf Pohaka and Brendan Leach, Huilin Han, Yoshihara, Paul Wong, and one of the 2 Sira Thoranickel brothers. Thai racers really enjoying their run in the championship. Then we'll go back to another Thai racer, Sutiluk Buncharoen and Gabriella Marini. Should have Kumar Prabhakaran at the rear of the field, and Daniel Stuttard, who they kind of got a little bit damaged earlier today, so it's good to see that's made it through to the grid for GDL Racing. And Kenneth Lau bringing up the rear. He also didn't quite get the flying laps in that he was looking for, and so starting from the tail of the field, but right at the front end it's car 63, Yusuf Pohaka, the Finn, sharing with Takashi Kasai. Been going very, very well indeed this year. We'll see if another win can be put into the bag for the FFF racing team. When I say another win, in fact, they haven't got any wins at all. They've had 2 seconds, 2 thirds, a 4th and a 5th. So consistency is king, but if you can get yourself a race victory, it does rather improve the point of your season. And for a lot of these drivers, it'll be their first visit to the Korea International Circuit. In fact, almost everybody racing here, bar the Korean racers who compete here in National Series, haven't had a taste of this circuit, and they all love it. It's a track of many different combinations of corners, and all of that, as you can see, it twists and it turns, giant grandstands all the way around. I think the original number was grandstand seats for 135,000 people, and certainly it was a circuit built with enormous ambition, and unfortunately I'm not sure all the money that required came in. Lovely touches like the Korean bridge over the start-finish straight, giving a local feel to the field, but the drivers now doing what they need to do as they come up towards the end of the lap. They're getting into close on 2x2 formation. Looking right the way back towards the tail of the field, and that's the last few cars coming around. 15 cars coming out to play. The long penultimate corner, turn 19 of the 20 turns around the track. A right-hander that keeps on turning right, then a little flick to the left at turn 20, onto the start-finish straight. It's a very short start-finish straight, as you'll see. So the car's bunched up. Brendan Leach on the outside, the left-hand side of your screen, but on pole, Yusuf Pohaka, the Finn, alongside the Kiwi, lining it up, waiting for the lights on the starting gantry to go from red to green. They're still red. When are they going to flick to green? Everyone's in tidy grid formation. They've gone to green. Spray of water from the outside of the circuit, just to make it a little more humid, but Pohaka from pole has got it under control. Is it all tidy in behind Evan Chen going up the inside in car number 68? Dan Wells on the outside for Lipert Motorsport. All looks relatively clean. One of the Sospiri cars lost a lot of ground. You can see it falling down to penultimate position, which isn't exactly what the doctor ordered. Tidy, 50-minute race. Pohaka does what he needs to do, gets into the lead of the race. Brendan Leach in second place, Evan Chen in third, Dan Wells getting back into fourth. Fleetingly was behind Toshiyuki Ochai in the turquoise Lamborghini there. Well, they're all in Lamborghinis, quite clearly. Out of turn 3 they go up past the national pits, totally different pit lane. Very few circuits have that. Must be said, really packed agenda of support races here this weekend, so the drivers, some of the support series, delighted to have pit garages all of their own. Now, the tight, twisty part of the circuit, that's turn 4, leading to turn 5. Out of turn 6, the drivers start to open it out through the sweeping S's around the back. They sweep from 6 through 7, 8, 9, 10, and on round effectively until it tightens up at 11. Brendan Leach, well, if he does that more often, he's not going to do his tyres any good. He'll also start to get the attention of the officials. They like at least one of the wheels inside the white lines around the circuit. Evan Chen trying to sweep around the outside. Not happening there, but what is happening as he goes up the inside now. Oh, Brendan Leach is going to have to hang on around the outside, and what goes left invariably goes right here at the Korea International Circuit. So third has become second for Evan Chen. So that little mistake from Brendan Leach, running off the circuit, and that was the opportunity for momentum to be gained, or more to the point, lost by Leach and gained by Chen. So Chen used that momentum up from third into second. Brendan Leach going to have to fight back. Brendan's got a new teammate this weekend, British racer Jake Rappenbreed, puts him into the Pro-Am class. Brendan very much the pro in that. Evan Chen, though, he's got a very handy teammate too, of course, sharing with Chris van der Drift, who's probably still hot under the collar, having just competed in the Blancpain GT World Challenge Asia race with a chasing drive. But the gap at the end of the opening lap, Evan Chen nearly 3.5 seconds down on Yusuf Oaxaca. So the Finn doing a very, very tidy job. You can see him about to come up the real crest. There we go, end of the straight up towards turn 3, sudden rise. And you get to the top, you want to be on the brakes. Plenty of width from the exit, but you don't want to keep getting pinged for running wide. Chen, Leach, Ochai, Huang, 69 there's Huang, leading car in the AM class for iLaser Motorsport. So very good run for him. Now, can Brendan Leach do anything about Evan Chen? Chen's car's been at the fat end of the field. He's scored, in fact he won the first 5 races, the middle one of which was taken away, disqualification. The first 2 races at Suzuka, 4th last time out at Fuji, but looking to get back at the sharp end of the field. Or the car that's running second, the number 68 car. 68 entered by Gamma Racing, with the race leading car, FFF Racing Team, the team that's taken the running of most of the Lamborghinis in the European Lamborghini series, and most notably in the European Blancpain GT World Challenge round as well. The car that always goes well, the number 38 entry. Hojust Racing, Afi Yazid will do the second stint. It's his Japanese teammate who's doing a very nice job. Toshiyuki Ochai in 4th place overall, hanging on the back of Chen and Leach at the moment. 5th place overall, leading car in AM, and in behind, 77, Dan Wells at the wheel, new to the championship this weekend. He's sharing with Philip Kaduri, the Australian racer. First to second, it stretched a little bit more last time around, but really the gap that's stretching is the one between Chen and Leach. Just over a second gain by the driver in second place, so that's looking pretty tidy for him as well. But he's overall nearly 3.8 seconds down on this man, the driver of car number 63, Yusuf Oaxaca. Here comes Evan Chen in second place. Wait, up the rise, next comes Brendan Leach, then Toshiyuki Ochai just in behind him. Doyen Wang putting in a really good performance, leading the AM class in this car, the metallic red wings on car number 69. Dan Wells tucks him behind for 77. That's one of the entries from Lippert Motorsports. And then Huilin Han behind for second of the AM runners. Up into turn 4, you can see the cars bouncing around. Turn 5 and 6, very tight indeed, and thereafter the track really starts to open up. But the driver who's opening up most of all is the driver in the lead of the race, Yusuf Oaxaca. Last time around, his best lap was 0.3 of a second faster than Evan Chen, so he's stretching that advantage. And around the first part of his lap, he's stretched ever further clear. He's found another 0.003 of a second. So Evan Chen all but matching Yusuf Oaxaca around the early stage of this lap. Right now, looking at car number 30, driver on board that's the top car, second place car in the Lamborghini Cup class. Car 30 YH Racing Team. It's Ajiro Yoshihara. He's sharing that with Takemichi Matsuda, who will take over in the second half of this 50-minute race. Evan Chen just about staying on the circuit as he chases after Yusuf Oaxaca. Oaxaca there through turn 20, the final corner of this 5.615 kilometre circuit. Just banged in the fastest middle sector of anyone. His gap was, let's see if it's about to come down. In fact, it came down by a fraction, about under 1/10 of a second there. But any advantage gained by Evan Chen shows it's plateauing a little bit. He's got 2.7 seconds over Brendan Leach, who in turn has got a slightly larger margin, 3.2 seconds back to the fourth place Ochai. Dorian Huang just going out of our shot there, still leading the AM class in 5th overall. Evan Chen up the rise, Brendan Leach trying to hang on. Last time around lost another second. So it seems, well, all the drivers will be aware it's a very, very hot and stuffy day. One just closing the door on any of these cars would have let them know that, but keeping the tyres sweet through the race is a factor to be considered. Yusuf Haka pushing very hard in the lead of the race, 3.7 seconds to the good. I think any driver who just is cool, calm and collected in these opening laps, after all the overtaking on the opening lap, will reap dividends. Just had a change. We just looked at Yoshihara. He was second in the Lamborghini Cup class, and he's now first. So obviously the wonderful touch of the TV camera has benefited him. Car number 39 there, hadn't seen too much of him. 7th overall, second in the AM class, wheel in hand, the grey and white car. Looks very nice, I must say. Great livery. Fastest lap of the race set last time around by the driver in second place. He's 3.7 seconds down, but I mean, we are talking a few thousandths here or there. He's quicker at the moment than race leader Yusuf Haka. And around the first part of this lap, he's gained another 1/10 of a second. So trying to close in, but 3.8 seconds, 3.7 seconds. It's a tiny, tiny advantage for the Finn. So the really close racing is sort of down in the middle order. Looking there at Dorian Huang, he's got Dan Wells in behind, number 77, and the driver based in Hong Kong up the inside. So that place has changed, but still no disgrace because Dorian is an AM racer. Dan Wells is a pro. I'm showing with Philip Kadori, who'll do the second part of the race. Next target for Wells is the driver in the middle of the screen there. That's Toshiyuki Akai. And Wells doesn't look as though he's got the pace to catch him. Whether he's got the extra pace to pass him, we will see. New fastest lap of the race last time around by Evan Chen. He's just coming up now, the green, white and red Charger, car number 68. 3.3 seconds down now. Gained over, well, best part of 4/10 of a second on the race leader last time around. So what looked a really tidy lead is being chopped away at. In fact, the majority of the drivers really starting to find their feet. Apart from the race leader and 6 others down the field, everybody else set their best lap of the race so far last time around on the third of their flying laps. 4 laps completed in this race. Of course, the first one has a rolling start, but not likely to set your fastest lap doing it from the rolling start. And around the early stage of this lap, Evan Chen continues to chip away at Yusuf Haka, but it's still 3.3 seconds. Might be down to 3.2 by the end of the lap, but that's all right. Haka's got this under control at the front. Well, I said he has, but Evan Chen has just really wound up the way. Well, that was such short work for Dan Wells. I just spotted him as I looked at the timing screen getting close to Ochai, but he's now passed. So Wells went from 6th to 5th, now 5th to 4th. Dorian Huang, who passed about a lap or so ago, stays on the tail, but Ochai has fallen into his grasp now. At the very head of the field, though, 3.316 seconds. Remember that margin, because at the end of the lap, Evan Chen, on his form around this lap, is really starting to close in. Has he got it down to 3 seconds flat by the end of the lap? What's the gap between them? Waiting for the time screen? No, 3.3. In fact, he didn't have such a good end to the lap. And overall, the only 8 thousandths of a second chipped away from the race leader on that lap. Certainly the first 2 sectors looked very, very good indeed for Chen, but clearly lost out in that third and final sector. Up into the hairpin, the right-hand hairpin at turn 13, up that slight turn 3, up that slight rise. Yusuf Haka still in front of Evan Chen. Evan Chen 4 seconds to the good over Brendan Leach. There is Chen going out of bottom of picture. There is Brendan Leach. Brendan actually going slightly faster around the early stages of this lap. Trying to see if he can do anything, but 4 seconds is an awful lot to gain. He's trying to hang in there in third overall. He's got 6.5 seconds thereabouts over Dan Wells. Of course, Wells, the number 77 entry from Leipzig Motorsport. Sister car to Brendan Leach's one. Once he got past Doyen Huang, and then Ochai really picking up the pace. But I think it's too far for him to make up before they get to the mandatory pit stop. There's a 10-minute pit window in this 50-minute race. We've not had it yet. We've got about another 6.5 minutes till it opens. Here's Brendan Leach, third overall. In fact, he maybe was cautious in the early stage of the race, but on this lap alone, he set his fastest first sector, his fastest second sector. Got a lot of time to gain, 4 seconds to catch up with Evan Chen, but he's doing it right. He should have it under 4 seconds by the end of the lap, because in fact in the middle sector he gained very tidily. He took 0.6 of a second out of Evan Chen, and Chen in turn has lost a lot of time to Yusuf Pohaka, so maybe Evan Chen attacked too soon and the life is going out of his tyres, whereas the Finn in the lead of the race had a comfortable lead and has just remained cautious in his lapping, and he's now really picking it up. At the end of the lap he's gone to 4.5 seconds first to second and 3.2 seconds, so Brendan Leach has gained 0.8 of a second on Evan Chen. Is this big alarm bells for Chen? Through in fourth place, Dan Wells here in fifth place. Ochai still just ahead of Doyen Huang. Huilin Han in the background of the shot, 7th overall, second in the AM class. Brendan Leach catching Evan Chen. Second place was seemingly way ahead of him. It was 4 seconds clear of him last time around, now only 3.2 seconds. He sees what he can do by way of a fight back. For Huilin Han, overall, there we are, second in the AM class. Was he quicker last time around than the leader in the AM class, Doyen Huang? No, he wasn't. He's 1 position down. He's 4 seconds down, but comfortable to pick up some very tidy points in the AM category, the amateur category. Wonderful race livery on Daijiro Yoshiharu's car, and even better for them, it's first in class, first in the junior class, if you will, the Lamborghini Cup. And his advantage over Paul Wong is a tiny one, 20 seconds at this point in the race. Just over 5 minutes to the opening of the pit window. Brendan Leach is going better and better as he gains time on Evan Chen. Yusuf Pohaka stroking it at the front of the race. There he is, car number 63 for the FFF racing team. 4.5 seconds to the good. And on this lap, again, like the previous lap, Evan Chen in second place is losing ground. Clearly his car not performing as he would like it to. Under 5 minutes to go until the pit window will open, but I would suggest Yusuf Pohaka will stay out as long as he possibly can. He's in the lead and looking very comfortable indeed. Then Takashi Kasai ought to be able to take the car over and see what he can do with it from there. Evan Chen, 5.291 seconds, only 5.3 seconds down on Yusuf Pohaka. Now only 2.7 seconds clear. Brendan Leach. Brendan's taken 1.3 seconds out of him in their battle for second place in just 2 laps. In the background of the shot, Dan Wells lapping at a very similar pace. In fact, he was the fastest driver in the top 4 last time around, just set his fastest lap. So the next car up the rise, the grey one with the blue bonnet, is the second of the Leipzig cars. Here's the first of the Leipzig Motorsport cars. That's the one with Kiwi Brendan Leach on board. Dan Wells doing his best to catch up. But the clock running down, and more than half an hour remaining in the race, but for a lot of these drivers, their pit stop is going to be coming all too soon for them. Very good run from Doyen Huang, leading the AM class, 6th overall, lapping at a respectable pace. None of the No one below Ochai in 5th place can match the pace of the race-leading crews, all lapping in 2 minutes 11s or very low 12s last time around, and the best of the rest lapping in 2 minutes 14. Going Huang 2 minutes 14.3 last time around. Well, there's plenty of runoff at various points around the circuit. Turn 3, definitely one of those. As you can see, one of the runners getting it really rather wrong, has rejoined the circuit. Let's take a look at the action. Oh, diving up the inside doesn't always work if you don't do your braking and go across the grass, but for car number 57, Saravut will have to apologise to his teammate, none other than his own brother, Saravut Sirithonaranikal, sharing with his teammate and brother Sarun. Got it wrong, but he could say, hey, at least I was making a passing manoeuvre. Unfortunately it backfired, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. Has to do it all over again. So the driver who gained there was fellow Thai racer Suchiluk Buncharoen. You can see him in car number 78, 3rd in the AM class. Now 1 position ahead of Saravut Sirithonaranikal. Car in 5th place, number 38, Toshiyuki Ochai, certainly getting pressured. Actually had the advantage that time around over the AM class leader here, Doyen Huang in car 69. Dealing in fractions of a second. Again, looking at the very front end of the race, Yusuf Oaxaca leading by 5.6 seconds. You can see on the graphic on the left of the screen, Brendan Leach having caught up. It seems Evan Chen has suddenly relaxed, got things right again, and had a better lap and a half. He's now sort of resolutely second rather than starting to look in his rear view mirrors. So Saravut Sirithonaranikal in car number 57, trying to make up the ground that he lost when he just ran off the circuit. Haven't seen too much of Daniel Stuttard, one of 2 Australians in that car. Richard Muscat will be the other. Didn't set a qualifying time, so started from 14th position overall. And at the moment he's up into 9th, so good run for him. This little battle's a great one. At the front of it, Paul Wong in car number 44, being chased and harried. He's second in the Lamborghini Cup class. Suchiluk Buncharoen is tucked in behind, and then Saravut Sirithonaranikal right on their tail, running in 9th, 10th, and 11th. Sorry, 10th, 11th, and 12th positions. It's getting very busy indeed. Don't forget the white car in the background of the shot. Saravut Sirithonaranikal tried that manoeuvre, got it wrong up into turn 3, bounced across the infield or the outfield, rejoined the circuit, lost all the position, got dust on his tyres. He's now settling back in to see what he can do about compatriot Suchiluk Buncharoen, who in turn is trying his best to topple Paul Wong, car number 44. Pit window now open, been open for 30 seconds, and one of the first cars in is the car that was running in 5th place overall, Toshiyuki Ochai, and he's going to hand over to his very, very handy Malaysian teammate, Afiq Yazid. So there's the bright helmet of Yazid about to climb aboard. Daniel Stuttard coming in. He'll be handing over to his fellow Australian. Sorry, that's Richard Muscat. The Daniel bit is Daniel Stuttard. Well, that is Daniel Stuttard, but I'm talking about Richard Muscat about to take over, falling over my own timing sheets. What do you want when you have a pit stop? Someone else parked right in front of you. That's a little unfortunate. Not a very crowded pit lane. It might be a foreshortening shot, but certainly for Afiq Yazid, it's going to make his exit all the more tricky. He's going to have to sort of almost go backwards before coming out round. Are they about to push him backwards, pull him backwards, do what they need to? Still doing driver changes. Sirithonaranikal car in for a driver change. We saw that little moment there for Saravut. And waiting for Sarun to take over. 5.8 seconds between Yusuf Pohaka and Evan Chen. Brendan Leach 8.5 seconds down. Vincenzo Sospiri Motorsport entering the pit lane. And we'll to halt for its pit stop, so busy time in the pit overall. 5.7 seconds. The gap goes out between the race leader, Yusuf Pohaka, and Evan Chen. 10th here, a 10th there. Here is Pohaka. Where is Chen? There is Chen. And the gap looks even bigger. Well, someone else coming out from the pits. Brendan Leach sweeps through in third place overall. Dan Wells is... well, he looks like he's getting a bit closer. 6 seconds down on Leach in fourth place. So it's Pohaka first, Chen second. There's Chen coming into turn 3. Brendan Leach in third, Dan Wells fourth. And Doi Huang leading the AM class, 5th overall, looking very, very comfortable indeed. Just checking on lap times. First and second, Pohaka and Chen. One goes faster by a 10th of a second, the other takes that time back following that. But the important thing for the Finn leading the race, he's got a buffer of close on 6 seconds over this driver, Evan Chen. Chen will hand over to Chris van der Drift. Yusuf Pohaka will hand over the number 63 FFF Racing Team entry to Kashi Kasai. And then we'll see how those drivers stack up. You'd certainly say Evan Chen's got a very, very tidy teammate in van der Drift. Top in the Pro-Am class, Brendan Leach, he's the pro, will be handing over to the AM, Jake Rattenbury. And Dan Wells in the sister Lipert Motorsport car will hand over to Philip Kadori. Car 38 got to be a factor in the hands of Afik Yazid, took over from Toshiyuki Achai. It must be said, it seems to have got a little bit boxed in during its pit stop. But Afik is the quicker of that pair, so we'll see if they can get towards the top 3. They came in from 5th position overall. Pit window still open. It's still open for about another 5.5 minutes, so you can be sure that Yusuf Pohaka in the race leading car with the Cosmos Foods livery on the side will go on as long as he possibly can. Another good tidy land from him. 3/10 down on his very best of 2 minutes 11.1. That was a good one. He gained the best part of 9/10 of a second over Evan Chen, so the gap's gone out from first to second until 6.6 seconds. Brendan Leach still third. Comfortably clear of Dan Wells, 5 and a bit seconds to good. That provisional final podium position. Has seesawed backwards and forwards, and at this late stage at the end of the first stint, with the pit window still open for a short while, Yusuf Pohaka just seemingly keeping things very sweet indeed. All his rivals lapping at the very fastest in 2 minutes 12 seconds lap. He's 2 minutes 11.4 second for his last lap. 0.3 of a second down on his ultimate pace, but just still right on it. Top half dozen runners, clearly the ones in the Pro-Am class by and large. The Pro, they're keeping the driver they think their quicker driver out as long as they possibly can to put in quick laps for as many laps as they can. And you'd have to say for the FFF Racing Team, you really rather expect, we're past the halfway point in this race, that Pohaka will stay out till the final moment and then hand over to his teammate Yoshiki Kasai. Sorry, Takashi Kasai, become heat crazed. Car number 69, being driven really well, leading the AM class. Doi Huang, 5th overall. In fact, last time round he just set his fastest lap. So yes, his tyres may be becoming a little tired, but he's not. He's learning all the time. Very, very impressive indeed. Richard Muscat took over the car that's fourth at the moment in Pro-Am class. But he's just slotted in not only the car's fastest lap, he's set in the fastest final sector of anyone. Daniel Stutter started the race, but Richard Muscat and his all-Aussie pairing absolutely flying. He's 10th overall, just gained a position last time around, lapped in 2 minutes 11.5, but it's that fastest final sector of anyone. So clearly very, very good through the twisty bits. Car 57, Sari Thoranickel, we saw him running off the circuit at turn 3, rejoining pretty much at that point that we're looking at Dan Wells's car, and he's now in the hands of his brother Sarun, third in the AM class, so we'll see how that goes. Keeping on the black stuff though, that's the guide. Wells in 77 car, 5.7 seconds down. Evan Chen in the pits, so he's coming early to hand over to Chris van der Drift, relatively speaking. He's the first one of the top half dozen to blink, and then also Doyen Huang has come in from 5th overall. But for Puhaka, and now second place leads the gap 10.8 seconds for Leach. And of course they know that Evan Chen has come in, he was running second, and sort of pretty much midway between the pair of them. Puhaka will wait out as long as he can. There is Chris van der Drift come out of the pit lane. Evan Chen, good, solid first sector in the race. Pit window still open. Keep an eye on the top of the screen. I think this will be the last lap for anybody who's still out on the circuit before they can dare come into the pits. Dare not to leave it any longer, more to the point. For Yusuf Puhaka's point of view, time to pit, that was the last opportunity, and he's grabbed it with both hands. Came in with that tidy 10.8 second lead, but that's artificial because of course Evan Chen had already ducked out last time around from what was second place. It should still be about 6 seconds to good, providing all is equal in the pit lane. I said Richard Muscat was flying in number 47. He was 10th last time I looked at the screens. He just moved ahead of car number 8. That's Kenneth Lau's car, which had been started by Michael Choi. Gone up to 9th overall, but his best lap very, very close, the fastest lap anybody has set all race. In fact, just Evan Chen has bettered that by 4/100ths of a second. Brendan Leach into the pits, Dan Wells into the pit behind him. Pit window about to close, I would suggest. In fact, as I say, the last of the cars that needs to make a pit stop is reporting into the pit lane right now. Puhaka is in from the lead, Brendan Leach from second place, Dan Welsh from third, but of course Evan Chen had already handed over to Chris van der Drift, and I would expect his Porsche to slot back into second place when they've all had their mandatory pit stop. Lamborghini Super Trofeo races, 50 minutes in length, 50 minutes in duration, and it's going to feel as though every one of those minutes is worth 2 minutes because it's very, very hot and humid. 37 degrees air temperature, track temperature is about 50 degrees, bobbing up and down, slight cloud coming into what was a blue sky this morning. In fact, the sky going white rather than blue, but that's a real sign of all the heat. And Asai, who's assumed the race leading car number 63 from FF Racing Team, Takashi Kasai, just needs to pick his way past number 8, the car running penultimate position in this 15 car field. That should be Michael Choi at the wheel, so listed as Kenneth Lau. So the last of the cars emerging back out onto the circuit, having made their pit stops very late. That's car number 30, Lamborghini Cup runner from White's Racing Team, now in the hands of Takamichi Matsuda. So, Kasai in the lead of the race. The car in second place ought to be looking for where Chris van der Drift will slot in. He should be ahead of Jake Rattenbury, who's taken over from Brendan Leach. So, out on the circuit, look for 63 to be at the front of the pack. Black and orange colour scheme for FFF Racing Team. Afik Yazid in car 38. There's our race leader, Takashi Kasai, but a driver who's going to be picking up positions, I'm fairly sure, is Afik Yazid in 38. He's just put that car's fastest lap in after taking it over from Ochai. '63, exemplary first part of the race from Yusuf Oaxaca. And for Takashi Kasai, 18 minutes or so to defend that lead. And not just defend the lead from anyone, it'd be Chris van der Drift. And there we have first to second, getting very close. 1.9 seconds, what a great stint already from Chris van der Drift. So the Kiwi is catching. Who's going to come across the line in third place? Jake Rattenbury, just saw a shot of him there. Car number 7 took over from Brendan Leach. Philip Kadori, who took over the sister Liput Motorsport car from Dan Wells. They're third and fourth, as they were before the pit stops. Afik Yazid, though, is giving chase and catching the pair of them in number 38 entry. And in the AM class, just being interrupted there. First in class is, well, it was the car started by Doyen Huang. Second in class should be car 39, Huilin Han. And they've got Richard Muscat in the middle of them as well. He's a black car from GDL Racing with a red stripe up the nose, number 47. And should be able to pass the pair of them. Now, you know, I said that I thought Afik Yazid was pretty handy. He's got to find 4 seconds or so to catch Philip Kadori, but the difference is he's doing it at some considerable pace and just put the fastest first sector of anybody. So look out for car number 38. That surely is outbraking from car 39. Driver on board at the moment. The driver who's driving all race, in fact, Huilin Han, Chinese racer, but he's got the speed to fight back. Just make that little slip up into turn 3. Getting close to Muscat. Muscat pulling away now. Australian in the Pro-Am class. Car 39, second in NAM. That's Huilin Han. Can't do anything at the moment about the pace of the 69 car. Shared this weekend by Doyen Huang and Zhen Lo. Zhen Lo on board, even though it still says Huang's name up on the screen. Yeah, in fact, the warning's just come up. Could the car 69, that is Doyen Huang's car. Please change the name. Flip the timing buzzer for Zhen Lo to be represented. So, lead of the race, Takashi Kasai, 1.9 seconds. No, that was last time. 0.6 of a second. Now, 1.3 seconds gained last time around. So Chris van der Drift getting closer and closer. The black and orange car still leading the race. Van der Drift getting closer and closer. 0.6 of a second on the start-finish line. It's come down to less than that. To go to turn 3, the infield hairpin. Oh, bit of a twitch there from Chris van der Drift. Oh, it's contact under investigation between 2 cars at turn 3. That's the infield hairpin. Car 57 and 78. 78 is Satulat Buncharian, and 57, fellow ties, Sarun Saritharanakul, but I think it was his brother, Saravut, they're talking about in the opening half of the race. We saw Saravut diving across the grass, up the inside, quite possibly contact. He then went wide and the position was lost, but the attempt was a bit of a fumble, it must be said. '63 leading the race, but for how much longer? Takashi Kasai still in front of 63 from FFF Racing Team, but the 68 car from Gamma Racing all over the tail of the Japanese racer. Chris van der Drift, the Kiwi, right on the money. Last time around gained 1 1/3 seconds. This time around surely got enough of a performance advantage in this battle for first position to find a way to the front of the field. I thought he was going to go for the outside. No need to. Up the inside. Very, very tidy. Tail end to the lap there. So we've got 68 into the lead of the race for Gamma Racing. Just to point out, this car won the first race, the second race, the third race, the fourth and the fifth, but the third race, their victory was taken away. They were disqualified for a technical regulation flouting incident, and they are now back into the race. Drive-through penalty for car 57, so for Sarun Serithoranikul, he's adjudged to have been the assailant in the incident down at turn 3. It certainly looked that way to us. So the car in 10th place is going to have to serve a drive-through, and that will promote pretty much everybody else behind, including the driver that he's thought to have had a little touch with, Sutiluk Buncharoen, his compatriot. Yusufuhaka, Takashi Kasai, I thought this might have been their first win of the season, but the chase and the race from Chris van der Drift has moved the Kiwi into the lead of the race and the Japanese driver back to second, so still they'll be searching for that first win after a fifth, a fourth, a second, a third and a third for Pohaka and Kasai. But unless something untoward occurs and goes wrong with the entry, number 68 from Gamma Racing, the car that's just taken the lead of the race ought to be able to stay there. And certainly Van der Drift looking very, very comfortable indeed. Just running down through the classes, third place overall, drifting away from their pace by a small margin here or there. Jake Rattenbury, third overall, the number 7 car from Leipert Motorsport. Afik Yazid taking chunks out of his time, now needs to find 2 and a bit seconds, and he might go into the lead of the Pro-Am class. Certainly you feel that pendulum has swung his way, but no pendulum has swung more anybody's way than the one swung in the favour of Chris van der Drift and Gamma Racing. Such a strong lineup, with Evan Chen doing the opening stint, and then really, really strong form from Chris van der Drift in the second half of this race. Top counting down, and unfortunately for Kasai, the 63 FFFF Racing team entry we're looking at now, just not able to match the green, white and red Charger at the head of the race, Chris van der Drift. Surely about to be a passing manoeuvre. I don't think this order is going to stay as it is. I certainly think it's going to be reversed. Jake Rattenbury surely about to cede to Afik Yazid. He hunted down and passed Philip Kaduri and is surely about to move 38 ahead of 7. This battle for Pro-Am class honours. Jake Rattenbury races normally with a Finn in Europe. I do believe might have raced out here in the past, but loves his Lamborghini racing. Fighting hard right now, but Afik Yazid is very, very nimble, very, very handy in Lamborghinis, and I'm sure he isn't going to have too much longer to wait. See if he can find his way past. Yeah, Jake Rattenbury races with Mikko Eskilainen, Finnish racer in the European Series, and a frequent visitor to the podium in the AM class. Well, Chris van der Drift having taken the lead of the race as third place is contested. Rattenbury's gone away, and Yazid, well, he just doing braking as late as he wants. Is it too late? Oh, yes, so it appears to be. Don't lose it on the exit. That's coming out. That's going into turn 4, 5, and then the left-hander at 6, and then the track opens up and becomes a little bit more fluid. Van der Drift 2.7 seconds clear in the lead of the race, gained 1 and a bit seconds last time around this lap. In fact, it seems as though Kasai is fighting back a little bit, but that gap, don't forget, he only took the lead a few laps ago, Van der Drift, and Kasai dropping away, but now holding his own, but got a huge margin over the driver in third place. Jake Rattenbury, Afik Yazid doing his best to get third place, but yet to achieve that. 6th place overall. Richard Muscat really been working his way forward, and his next target, he's got to find 16 seconds, but he should be able to catch fellow Australian Philip Kaduri. Such is the difference, 5 seconds a lap faster last time around than Kaduri, but Kaduri's in 5th, Muscat in 6th in car number 47. Leading the AM class, wheel in hand for T-Squared Racing. He's running 7th overall. He's lapping at a not too bad a pace, but he's not catching Muscat, that's for sure. That gap's going out big time. .39, wheel in hand. One of the few drivers doing the entire race on his own. Doesn't gain any advantage in the pits, but he's running 7th overall, leading the AM class from the car started by Doyen Huang, but with, let me just remember who is taking over. Zen Lo, he was the one where they haven't flicked the transponder across to say the name of the second driver. Now, one of the favourite corners for going a little bit wide is one that Chris van der Drift has just received his first warning. The race leader, van der Drift, wide at turn 6. Once you've got your second warning, you're on your final warning pretty much into the third, but then you start getting penalties. And here it was an inevitability that Yazid would get past Rattenbury, but Rattenbury, the British racer, not too keen to back off. Now, finally, the Welshman surely has to cede position side by side, but he was on the right-hand side, and the next corner was a right-hander, but he'd run a little deep into the corner, so surely, Afik Yazid can find a bit of an advantage. Just lost his momentum, though, couldn't sweep around the outside, so it was a short-lived move into third overall. We're going to have to do it all over again. Oh, big twitch there from Rattenbury, second time that's happened. Trying his best to hold on, and hold on he is in resolute form, but 6 3/4 minutes remaining in this race. Can he resist pressure like this for the remainder? Can he take it through to take position at the end? There, finally, the move has been completed, not for want of trying. Afik Yazid looking one way, jinking the other, feinting this way, feinting that way, and then eventually getting through. So Rattenbury goes down out of the Pro-Am lead, out of the top 3 overall to 4th, and in the opposite direction, Afik Yazid, Malaysian racer, up into 3rd, up into the Pro-Am class lead. Philip Kadori still running in 5th, but being caught all the time by Richard Muscat, trying to see how much it came down this next time around, waiting for the Australian Muscat to cross the start-finish line, and he takes another 2.7 seconds off. I don't think the clock's running down. I'm not sure he's going to have enough time to get up to 5th overall, but it's a really good charge, and he needs it for points in the Pro-Am class. Unfortunately for Takashi Kasai, as I said, those 2 second places, the 2 thirds, the 4th and the 5th is not going to be a win to add to it. Looks like it's going to be another second place. He doesn't have the answers to any questions being asked by Chris van der Drift, and the New Zealander clear by 4 seconds ahead of the Japanese racer, and in turn Kasai has a huge advantage, 20 seconds or so over Afik Yazid. Of course, Yazid bottled up behind Jake Rattenbury for a number of laps, will be able to pick up the pace now he's got into clear air. Car number 30 leading the Lamborghini Cup class in the hands of Matsuda, Takemichi Matsuda. Looks great, very, very Japanese graphics on the flanks of that car. Looks pretty good in that livery too, it must be said. Wheel in hand in 39, still leading the AM class. Here he is, T-Squared Racing. He's had a very, very successful season. He's had 3 class wins out of 6 attempts, so looking good to make that 4 here in the AM class. And again, you could hear much earlier lift than normal there, just trying to keep it clean and tidy. He's not being pressured too hard. There's a 10-second advantage over the 69, which is being finished in this race by Zen Lo. But here's our race leader, Chris van der Drift, the car in second place with the orange nose on it. 4.9 seconds behind Takashi Kasai. Afik Yazid, well, he was faster than the second place car, but he's just under 20 seconds down in third place, so there's no point in him thrashing it too hard. And he's easily dropped Jake Rattenbury, who's now 2.5 seconds back in 4th overall. So here is Kasai, car number 63, FFF Racing Team. Second overall in the Pro lineup. driver who's sort of going well in the latter stages of the race. Car number 44, started by Paul Wong, now in the hands of Clement Lee. Clement from Hong Kong is just about, I think, to set that car's fastest lap, despite it being its 20th lap in this race. He's down in 10th place overall, 6 and a bit seconds down on the number 30 car we've seen quite a lot of with Matsuda in the wheel. Saw him a short moment ago, but it's the car behind that's really going very well. So for Paul Wong, watching from the pits, he'll be very pleased with the performance of Clement Lee in 44. Race leader taking no prisoners, but taking no risks either. So for Chris van der Drift, it looks like he's lost a little bit of time in that middle sector. And yes, he has indeed, but he can afford to lose a bit. Look, 2.5 minutes remaining. Oh, well, in fact, what he has gained a little loss there for Takashi Kasai. A little bit obstructed there, unable to do anything about it. So just as he might have been gaining a bit on Chris van der Drift, Kasai in second place lost at least half of that advantage gained when he got obstructed by the white runner towards the tail of the grouping there. So to look Bancharo. There's Bancharo in number 78. In fact, it's Kumar Prabhakaran, I beg your pardon, who was blocking down at the tail of the field. So first to second, it did come down. 3.7 seconds is the gap now. So 1.2 seconds gained by Kasai on the race leader, but traffic was a major player in that last time around. Izid, just going through our shots. 18 seconds down on Kasai in third overall. Jake Rattenbury 4.4 seconds further back. So Yazid has got that battle for third under control, as you can see there. But leading the race, leaving his braking very, very late. Again, Chris van der Drift. That's at the infield hairpin, the turn number 4. For 2 tight corners then here at this point. Turn 6, a lot of drivers being pinged through the various championships, running wide on exit. The reason they push so hard is because it leads into a long, not a straight, but a series of sweepers. And if you can get your momentum going early, really, really is a big result. Car in second place on our screens at the moment. Takashi Kasai, 3.7 seconds down. But as soon as there's no traffic, Chris van der Drift in number 68, leading the race for Gamma Racing, is able to pull clear. He's been obstructed a little bit by traffic, a little bit being cautious going past back markers. But with a clear track, he's able to just eke out his advantage again, stretch his lead at the head of this race. And it really is proving to be a very, very good season for the crew of the 68 car from Gamma Racing. 4 wins, a win taken away from them as well, and a 4th place. No wonder they're at the sharp end of the field. 6 seconds remain on the clock. Checkered flag about to be unfurled. And there it was, almost to the second, a 50-minute race. Spot on by Chris van der Drift. He'll win by, I don't know, 5 seconds. 5.7 seconds his advantage over the 63 entry brought home by Takashi Kasai. But no pressure at the end of the race. A really good chase. Got into the lead of the race in the second stint. And waiting for Afik Yazid to finish third and win the Pro-Am class. And there he does that in number 38 entry. And Jake Rattenbury just coming to the background of the shot for Lipert Motorsport in 4th overall. Take second in the Pro-Am class. Richard Muscat, really good drive up to 5th place, and was really flying at the latter stages of the race. He will be third in Pro-Am. And we'll be looking for the winner in the Am class. It should be Huilin Han in car number 39. There he is, heading to the finish in 7th place overall. The job all but completed. The final 3 corners. This is the penultimate corner, the long, long right-hander. He's got that under control. Got everything under control. So finishing behind the Australian pairing of Muscat and Kaduri, Huilin Han takes 9th place overall and wins the Am class. Lamborghini Cup class, just waiting for the winner to come through. It should be Matsuda in car number 30. There he is. We've got Sarun. Well, it looks like we're about to almost have a place change, because these are the first 3 in the Lamborghini Cup class, and we're just having a change because Sarun Sari Thoranicol in the white car has just moved up into second in class and he's just running out towards the end of that. Can he take? He can't. That's first, second and third, covered by about 0.6 of a second. Car number 44, Clement Lee, has fallen back to third in class on this final lap. And 30, Matsuda just snicks in. Super close in Lamborghini Cup class. Doesn't matter where they finished overall, but I can tell you where they finished overall. It's 9th, 10th and 11th. But of course, Saroon was not in the Lamborghini Cup class. What am I talking about? He's an AM, so second in class did eventually go to Lee, but split by Saroon coming back through in car number 57. And Saroon ended up third in the AM class. Second went to the 69 crew, and Huilin Han won that overall. So the race results there on the screen for you, but Chris van der Drift taking victory with Evan Chen. Evan did a good opening stint, but it was Yusuf Pohaka who led the first half of the race, but he's having to make do with second place overall, sharing with Takashi Kasai. No answer to the pace of the flying Kiwi Chris van der Drift in the second half of the race. Afik Yazid really flew to get the number 38 car up into the top of the Pro-Am classing. It's in third overall, came good and got ahead of Jake Rattenbury in the latter stage of the race. So Rattenbury and his regular, well, it is a regular teammate who's always here in the championship, Brendan Leach, fourth overall, second in the Pro-Am class, third in the Pro-Am class. Daniel Muscat, a really good final stint, taking over from Daniel stuttered and getting it up to fifth overall. Daniel Wells, welcome to the championship. He and Philip Kaduri racing under the Hong Kong flag, coming home sixth overall and fourth in the Pro-Am classing. So some great racing, but Chris van der Drift the master in the second half of the race, much as Yusuf Pohaka was the master in the first stage up to the pit stop window when he led the race, had a tiny lead, but the pace of van der Drift in the second half of the race, too much for Takashi Kasai. Thus victory number 5 for them in the championship, coming here in the first of 2 races at the Korea International Circuit. All really enjoying the challenge of this former Grand Prix circuit, able to stretch the legs of their cars and really fly around the circuit. So good, tidy first race, more of the same tomorrow, no doubt. And every single one of the starters got to the end of the race. That's good news as well. Cars should be now arriving in pit lane. Last few cars, I can hear their engine notes just coming past my commentary position inside the final corner. Second place car, number 63, could have been a win, but that win still escapes them this year. That's their third second place. The winning car, Chris van der Drift getting out in the background, so he's looking very pleased. Gamma Racing delighted. The third place car just coming in behind them, that's Safik Yazid, the Malaysian racer, winning Pro-Am, third overall, so a very good run for him as well. So plenty of applause from the crews down there. All the drivers will be feeling very, very hot indeed. Hot and humid, exceptionally. So much so that all the teams, drivers, crews, anyone here, anyone with a mobile phone received an emergency alert both yesterday and today just to warn people to stay out of the temperatures, because it was 36, 37 degrees, much hotter than normally expected at the start of August here in South Korea, and certainly been very, very hard work for everyone involved. So waiting for the drivers to start ascending towards the podium, but you see on the left-hand side with the beard just having a swig of his drink, Chris van der Drift, building on the start by Evan Chen, and it's really proving a very, very strong season for the Gamma Racing crew. As I say, they've had 6 races before coming here. They've had 4 wins, an extra win taken away from them for a technical infringement and a 4th place. So in anybody's language, that's a lot of points. You've got to be consistent too. And certainly there's been consistency from Puhaka and Kasai for FFF Racing Team, but 5th, 4th, 2nd, 3rd, and then 2nd today means they do need those wins that if they're going to have any chance in the championship. And what they cannot afford is a single fumble, with Chen and van der Drift almost winning at ease. And today their victory by 5.7 seconds was a very tidy one. They fought hard. Second half of the race, just too strong for Kasai. So as the sound rises around the podium, I'm sure the driver's about to be called out. And of course we have many podium ceremonies here, because you have overall, you have Pro-Am, you have AM and Lamborghini Cup as well. Just worth reiterating, very, very tidy race. Some great overtaking as well, all studied, but the Korea International Circuit, everyone who gets to taste it really, really enjoys it. Yes, if you walk around the outside, a little bit of the love that was required when it was a World Championship facility has gone missing. The circuit needs a little bit of sprucing up, but what you can't take away is the fact the track here at Yeongam is a really, really good racing circuit, and the drivers all really thoroughly enjoying the challenge. So, waiting for the first of the podium ceremonies for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia. And I'm sure there are going to be some big smiles and some very, very satisfied drivers going up to collect their trophies and spray some fizz up there on the podium. So we're going to cut away now. Do come back and join us for the second of these two races tomorrow. Race Sunday here at Korea. For the driver's point of view, let's hope it's a little cooler. From our point of view, more of the same, please. That's all from me. Thanks very much.